compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, laws of the state of New Jersey. Borough Clerk has prepared the schedule of the meetings of the governing body of the Borough of Kenilworth for the year 2022. The Borough Clerk has posted a true copy of the schedule on the bulletin board located at the front entrance of Borough Hall, and has mailed true copies of this schedule to the local source, the Star Ledger, and the Home News Tribune, and is maintaining a copy of this schedule in her office during the year 2022. During the public health emergency caused by coronavirus, the Borough Council will continue to meet not virtually, on our regularly scheduled meeting dates at 6 p.m. The council meeting will continue to commence as soon as possible after the work session. Accordingly, the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied with regard to this meeting. Please stand for the salute to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Cesari? Here. Councilman David and Finestrello are excused. Councilman Pence?
Here.
Councilman Puglisi?
Here.
And Councilman Zimmerman.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mayor.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the work session and council meetings of January 12th and 26th, 2022?
Make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cesari? Yes. Councilman David and Finestrello are excused. Councilman Pence?
Yes.
Councilman Puglisi?
Yes.
And Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
Various advisories were received from the New Jersey State League of Municipalities, and the department reports for January were received.
Okay, is there a motion to accept communications and reports?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Cesari, seconded by Councilman Pence. Puglisi. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. As we enter February, this is probably our first thought. Roses and flowers of all sorts, coupled with heart-shaped boxes of candy and wonderful cards with loving verses inside. But Be My Valentine will be the theme of the day for sure. Please remember all the great restaurants and shops we have in town when looking for that special gift or a fancy night out. And have you ever thought of how to be someone's special Valentine without candy, flowers, or cards? How about a kind deed or word, like taking some food to the sick, shut-ins, our veterans and seniors, especially on cold winter nights? Another way to be a special Valentine is to consider giving blood, donating to our local food pantry, and volunteering to help in an organization that speaks to your heart. Just some thoughts that may get us thinking of ways to help and remember our friends, family, and our neighbors. Just a reminder that St. Teresa's Food Pantry is open to anyone in need. All visits are confidential. The hours are Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., Wednesday evening from 6 to 7 p.m., and every other Thursday starting tomorrow it's from 10 a.m. to noon. Also, the Louis DeMondo Civic Association is once again offering free tax preparation to our veterans and seniors this year. The date will be February 23rd at the VFW Hall on South 21st Street. Please call 908-422-1724 to set up an appointment. Thank you. Finance report, Councilman Puglisi.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple items. The Finance Department, Ken Bloom, is meeting with the Borough Administrator and the department heads. They're working on putting together a 2022 budget to present to the Finance Committee. Also, in regards to the emerged tax appeal, the Finance Committee will be meeting via Zoom with some professionals that will aid us in litigation. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Puglisi. Department of Public Works, Councilman David is excused. Department of Public Safety, Councilman Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mayor. For the month of January 22, the Kenilworth Police Department responded to 1,094 calls for service and 210 911 calls. There were a total of 53 hours of overtime, which was primarily for scheduled patrol overtime and some dispatcher overtime. There were 120 motor vehicle summonses issued in January and 116 hours of training for the police department. There were also 3 working days lost to on-the-job injuries. Chief Seuss reported that he recently attended virtual training on emergent threats, houses of worship under siege, and has reached out to Kenilworth Interfaith Council about doing a security analysis for the various houses of worship in Kenilworth, as well as addressing their congregations about appropriate security measures and what to be on guard for during services. Communication was well received, and the Kenilworth Police Department should be setting up the training soon for individual faith communities within the borough of Kenilworth. Kenilworth is still being hit with a number of stolen motor vehicles and motor vehicle burglaries. Vehicles have been stolen or broken into on 21st Street, Bloomingdale Avenue, Market Street, and 26th Street. Residents are reminded to please lock their vehicles, whether they are on the street or in their driveways, and to please not leave their key fobs or keys in their vehicles parked at their homes. Also, the dispatcher applications are still out. They are due this Friday, February 11th at 4 p.m. I don't know if this is going to make it out in time to the public, but if anybody in this room or any family, friends, anybody that you know that is interested in becoming a dispatcher, please have them complete a dispatcher application online and bring it to the police desk before Friday at 4 p.m. Also, just want to touch base on the snow ordinance. It came up during our DPW meeting with the superintendent to make sure that people do not park on the side of the street that corresponds with that day. So today is the 9th. So on the 9th, there's no parking on the odd side of the street that day. If today were the 10th, tomorrow, there's no parking on that side of the street that day, the even side. And between 9 p.m. and 12 a.m., midnight, it's suspended, so you don't have to get up at midnight and move your car. Anytime between 9 p.m. and 12 a.m., you can move your car and park on either side of the street. But just remember that once 12 o'clock hits, for tomorrow, it would be an even day, so you cannot park on the even side of the day. It's important for us to know that so that we can work with our DPW to make sure our streets are clear and that they can plow curb to curb. Also, just wanted to touch base that we are going to be hiring a new officer tonight and swearing them in. It's Dominic Riccelli. He's here, his family's here. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. And the Kenilworth Police Department here is in force. Thank you for coming out tonight also. Dominic Riccelli has worked with the Essex County Sheriff's Department from 9 of 21 until tonight when he will become a police officer here in Kenilworth. He also has experience with the East Orange Police Department from February of 2019 through September of 2021. He's also a volunteer firefighter in his hometown of Cedar Grove. So he's certified as a firefighter. And I wish him the best of luck and good luck with your career here in Kenilworth. It's a great town. Just moving on, last but definitely not least, I would like to call up Officers Machino and Officer Brett Byron to the front, and Captain Sims, who will be standing in for Chief Seuss, who is not feeling well this evening. Mayor, can you come up too? Now let's move to the center here, so we're not over the line. Perfect. Thank you. Well, Travis, you're going to be our official photographer, Travis? Looks like it. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So, I had spoken to Chief Seuss. He can't be here this evening, but one of the things I always wanted to do, and I wanted to implement as a council member, is to have an officer of the month. I know we have a DPW, and they get honored every, for the month when they do a great job. And I know our officers here in Kenilworth, dispatchers, go above and beyond, and they don't get recognized like they should. So we had spoke about it, and this is our first 2 officers of the month. We didn't have one prior to this, so we have 2 to start off. So that's a great thing. And who better than Ray Ficino to my left and Officer Brett Byron for being the co-officers of the month of January 2022. On January 14th, Officers Ficino and Byron responded to a first aid squad call, which was a request for a 70-year-old man having difficulty breathing. While on scene, the man lost consciousness and became unresponsive. The officers quickly began CPR, and after working with the Union County paramedics, were able to regain the patient's pulse and bring him back to life. Their quick thinking and professional actions likely saved a resident's life. On Wednesday, February 2nd, officers Recreational and Byron also responded to New York City on their own time on the day off to attend the funeral of slain NYPD Detective William Morrow and pay their respects to this hero who paid the ultimate sacrifice. They're both excellent representations of the Kennewick Police Department and the Borough of Kennewick. And with that, I'm going to have the mayor, you can give this one to Officer Byron. And they're doing a phenomenal job. They're both great officers. I've worked with them as their chief, and I'm proud that they're both on the Kennewick Police Department. We're a lucky department to have such great talent and dedication, and keep up the great work. We appreciate all you do for us to keep us safe and keep our town the great town that it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And that's it, Mayor. That's my report.
Excellent, very nice, thank you. Planning and zoning, Councilman Fenestrol is absent, so I'll move on to recreation and fire, Councilman Pence.
Thank you, Mayor. Fire report for the month of January. They answered 62 calls for service, which 10 were mutual aids, and there's 59 calls for the rescue squad. Recreation report, basketball is going well. The season will be finishing up the second week of March. Softball registration started on Friday, February 4th. Flyers went out to the school and info has been posted on the rec Facebook page. Deadline for registration is March 1st. Year-state hunt is being scheduled for April 10th with a rain date of April 16th in person at the Marriott Park. Detailed flyers will be sent through the school and will be posted on the rec Facebook page by mid-March. On Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022, the Recreation Council members had a meeting to discuss future plans for the playgrounds and parks. In attendance were Laura Reinerson, Krista Boyle, Town Engineer Anthony Gallerano, DPW Superintendent Mike Calixto, Councilwoman Casey Sierra, and Councilman John Zimmerman, and myself. It was reported by Mrs. Reinerson that there's an excess of $700,000 in grant money from the county to be used, or we lose the grant money this year. This is a matching grant money. Last year, the committee met with Calixto regarding the playground equipment to be purchased and which parts to be installed. The lowest price quote came from Giordano Perserno. Mr. Calixto was going to do again a new estimate for the cost of the equipment since it came from 2021. Mr. Calixto further reported that the repairs that were made to some playground equipment in the parks. Ms. Boyle inquired on adding a soccer field, practice field at the Marion Park instead of refurbishing the tennis courts. This subject was bantered around by all present. The conclusion was for all of us to meet at the Marion Park on Thursday, February 10th at 9:30 a.m. and physically assess the configuration and to ascertain the soccer field to be feasible. Drainage was also discussed along with the possible overhang for the building to shield the division from weather, due to the fact that the summer program has a good possibility of being held into Mario. All this will be considered in spending of grant money.
Okay, excellent, thank you, Councilman Pence. Health, Education, and Human Services, Councilwoman Cesari.
Thank you, Mayor. As of now, I don't have a report for anything. I just have a couple of announcements, only because my meetings are going to be tomorrow night. So I will, the next meeting, I will tell everybody what goes on at those two meetings. But I just want to mention for the Board of Health, we do have, and I forgot to mention this at the last meeting, we have shared services with Union for animal control. That's Union Township. And just a reminder, the health fair will be on September 24th of 2022. And as everybody knows, the senior building is now open. It was as of February 2nd. Just a couple things for the library that I feel I need to just mention without, it's not a report, it's just the programming going on. They just want me to tell you the Paper Pal program will meet on Tuesday, February 15th from 2 to 4 p.m. The Arnie's program will meet on February 10th and 17th from 2 to 4 p.m. Children programming. There will be a special storytime event to celebrate Black History Month. The program presented by the Okra Dance Company is American Dance from Africa to Broadway on Thursday, February 17th from 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. for children ages 4 and up, teens and adults, where the audience will join through the evolution of popular American dance from its African notes and European influences, and culminating with the Broadway and club dances of today. Also, the library began its grab and go Valentine craft for children ages 4 to 9 while supplies last. Children can check out a favorite book and receive a craft to take home. On Thursday, February 10th, there will be a drop-in teen craft for teens ages 14 to 17, where teens can drop into the library and work on a craft beginning at 5:30 p.m. And that's all I have for my report for announcements.
Thank you, Councilwoman Cesari. Next for council consideration is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Zimmerman, seconded by Councilman Pence.
Resolution 72, 76 are listed on the consent agenda and will be enacted by one motion. All items will be recorded individually in full in the minutes. Councilwoman Cesari?
Yes.
Councilman David and Councilman Finestrello are excused. Councilman Pence?
Yes.
Councilman Puglisi?
Yes.
And Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
Okay, this evening we are welcoming a new police officer on the department. Unfortunately, Chief Seuss is under the weather this evening. Captain Sims, would you and Dominic Riccelli please come up? And Dominic, if there's someone who'd like to hold the Bible for you.
I,
Dominic Riccelli,
Dominic Riccelli,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and bear true faith
and bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
justly
perform the duties of
perform the duties of
Kenilworth Police Department Patrolman
Kenilworth Police Department Patrolman
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.
I'd just like to take a minute to thank everybody for coming. Officer Rosselli, his friends and family. Mayor, thank you. You've been nothing but supportive throughout this whole process, and we really appreciate it. Mayor and council, the safety committee, thank you very much. You know how we were hurting as far as having bodies for just basic patrol. We were working a lot of overtime last year, and this really helps. And also, Rosselli is going to be a great addition to the Kenilworth Police Department. He went through the transfer process. He was one of 45 officers that wanted to transfer to the Kenilworth Police Department. He, in my eyes, was the top of the list from the very start. And although I didn't have a lot of say in the process of the interview, obviously the police committee felt the same way and hired Officer Rosselli. He's going to be a great addition to the Kenilworth Police Department, and we're just very happy and glad to have him. Thank you.
and the borough and the police department for the opportunity.
Okay, the council has need to go into executive session. Can I have a motion, please, to go into executive session?
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Zimmerman, seconded by Councilman Puglisi. We just need to go,
Whereas as authorized by the Open Public Meetings Act and NJSA 10:4-12B, the Borough Council has need to meet in private session to discuss matters of attorney-client privilege. There are two ordinances this evening. The first one up is for public hearing and adoption. It's ordinance 2022-01, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Chapter 5 Administration of Government, Section 5-14, titled Meetings and Conferences of the Code for the Borough of Kenilworth County and Union State of New Jersey.
yeah, the purpose of this ordinance is to amend the rules of order and schedule of council meetings. The proposal is to change the council meetings from the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month to the first and third Wednesday of the month. Is there a motion to open the floor for public discussion on this ordinance and this ordinance only?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Second.
Okay. Anyone have anything to say on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Please come forward and state your name and address. Okay. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the floor for public discussion on this ordinance only?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, is there a motion to approve ordinance 22-01 for adoption?
Motion.
Second.
Okay.
Be it hereby resolved that ordinance 2022-01 entitled, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Chapter 5 Administration of Government, Section 5-14, titled Meetings and Conferences of the Code of the Borough of Kenilworth, County and Union, State of New Jersey, was introduced and approved on first reading at the regular meeting of the Borough Council on January 12, 2022, approved for final passage at the regular meeting of the Borough Council February 9, 2022, after all persons interested were given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance in accordance with law. Councilman Cesari?
No.
Councilman David and Councilman Finestrello are excused. Councilman Pence?
Yes.
Councilman Puglisi?
Yes.
And Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
We have a tie.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, with one
Okay.
break, right?
Yeah, thank you. Introduction of ordinance 2022-02, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Chapter 5 Administration of Government, Section 5-14. I'm sorry. An ordinance to amend recreational program fees in Section 91-6, Article 3, entitled Fees for Participation in Programs.
Okay, the purpose of this ordinance is to amend recreational fee schedule. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2022 for introduction?
Motion. Second.
Motion made Pence, Cesari.
Be it hereby resolved that ordinance 2022-02, entitled an ordinance to amend recreational program fees in Section 91-6, Article 3, entitled Fees for Participation in Programs, heretofore introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on March 2nd, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. or as soon as thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the Borough Council, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance in accordance with law. Councilwoman Cesari?
Yes.
Councilman David and Councilman Finestrello are excused. Councilman Pence?
Yes.
Councilman Puglisi?
Yes.
And Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like a motion to open the floor to the public.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone have anything to say for the good and well-being of Kenilworth? Please come forward and state your name and address.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Amy Reichel. I reside at 719 Mount Providence, Kenilworth, New Jersey. I just had some questions, and I apologize for late to the game. I didn't have the recent time to look over the council meetings on YouTube. Was there a reason that the attorneys and the insurance were changed? Was it for like better rates or better quotes?
The governing body, the majority governing body made a decision to change.
But I just want to know if there was a reason for it.
We just thought it was time for a change.
Was there a better, was it for money, monetary? Like better
It was
rates?
a combination of a couple items, but it was primarily just for.
Just for a change, not monetary?
Well, I wouldn't say monetary. I would say more. You can't be penny wise and pound foolish. I think the dollars and cents were about the same, but it was just for a matter of changes. We thought to bring in a new team.
Can I address that, please?
Sure.
Even though I voted yes for the changes, and with all due respect to all council that were appointed, we are paying more. And why are we paying more when you want to take away from the rec stipend to save money? Why are we paying more?
I don't believe we'll be paying more, and at the end of the day,
Well, when the
Because I've been
hours
saying-
add up, you know that. When the hours add up, we will be paying more.
absolutely. And I've seen invoices from our previous council. I don't want to. He's not here to defend himself.
Okay.
But I just think just because you're looking at an hourly rate doesn't necessarily mean that will be the final bill. So,
Exactly.
and sometimes you pay what you get what you pay for as well. So let's just, I think the new team is better for this council moving forward.
Okay.
All right?
Well, like I said, I voted yes, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I just wanted to know why. And if you're
You're
going to
entitled.
take away from the recreation on the stipend and, take away money from them, why are we giving more money to
I
other
believe at
things?
the end of the day, you'll see that the new team, absent, legal ramifications, lawsuits that we don't know about coming forward, but I think you'll see the dollar amounts to be roughly the same, and the level of representation probably maybe a little better.
Okay.
But honestly, I want Frank in here to defend himself, but what
I really.
what I saw showed that we needed to change.
We know, both in the legal field. I'm telling you, I know the dollar amount's not going to be the same, so that's why I asked the question.
Good.
With all due respect. Okay? Thank you.
And also it was stated in one of the meetings, when it was brought up about Mr. Boyle's or the rec director's stipend, that there was other people or positions that had their stipends cut. Would you mind stating what that was?
Madam Mayor, I don't think that we should be talking about any individuals identified.
Right, of course.
Okay?
Absolutely.
But if you were, or if anybody in the governing body was inclined to provide an answer on a departmental basis, I think that should be sufficient. But I caution everyone to stay away from naming
Right,
any particular.
no names. I have heard that same statement, and I am not aware or was not part of any of those conversations, so
So at this time, there was
the
no
people
other-
that have made those conversations should be responding, or made those statements to you.
I can't, I wasn't there.
Well, I'll just say this without mentioning, has been, from my perspective, a goal to reduce the stipends in general.
But was there another? Is my question.
I don't think I really talk about it specifically, I'll just say that forward. I don't know if Mark will allow me to
Well, I'm just
mention
saying, is there
that.
any
But the-
other?
Say
Any
yes or
other
no question.
besides- Any other besides the one that was done? Has there been any other stipends cut? I'm not saying
Cut
after the position,
or-
or cut down, yeah.
There
It was cut.
there was an instruction to remove at least
remove?
one or two of them.
But at this time, there has not, it has not.
No. It was done. It was taken off the agenda to be approved. Now, actually, whether it went down to the finance committee, I don't know. I guess I'll leave that to Laura or Council Long, but absolutely.
Okay. And then, my question is, what was the reasoning behind it? Was the rec director a poor performer? Was the rec, underspent, overspent? Because actually, at this point, who would want to come to work for the Borough of Kenworth unless you have a contract? Because unless you are a Republican or Democrat or the governing body that's in, there's no incentive to work here because you're just going to cut my job. That's what it looks like.
Again, I don't mean to interrupt, but I have my job to do. You can't discuss job performance of any individual, and
But
I
why was it cut?
Excuse me, I have to place this caution on the record. And I caution the governing body not to be discussing the performance of any individual or any information that would allow people to identify an individual who may be in this category. With that being said, I believe that I heard there were economic decisions that were made. I don't think that we should go beyond that in the council.
The council, she's just asking why. That's the question.
I understand that, but the law is that if an individual is going to have the adverse consequence of their position discussed, it's got to be in closed session, they have to be riced.
I understand.
Okay, so this particular line of questioning does infringe upon that.
Okay.
Can I ask, from my understanding, I don't think it was, that's not the case how it was handled.
Listen, I was on the committee. I
That's
didn't
what
know
I'm
anything
asking.
about it.
So it wasn't handled correctly?
No, it was not.
So I would
disagree, it
humbly,
absolutely was handled correctly, please.
Excuse me, was I asked to join your meeting? I am on the committee.
Your
I am
meeting.
on the rec committee.
There was,
And there was no
there was
resolution.
no rec committee at the time.
So,
Excuse me?
When we created when actually, that was at the reorg meeting, so there was barely any rec committee to be noticed.
The conversation
That
happened
was-
prior to that. when
Well, I
she
don't know
was
what you're
on
talking
the-
about, I don't know what you're talking about, quite frankly, you
All right,
can,
you know what, I'm
you
not
can
gonna
have your own
fight you,
facts,
everybody
but,
says
you
we're so
know.
contentious, but you know what, Fred?
And there was no right
Stop.
notification given, that is also another
There was
problem.
no need to give a risk notification.
So why-
There was no need, so, but let's just leave it at that.
Well, how come that wasn't included on the
His
meeting?
name was said right on tape.
It wasn't by us,
Yes,
Oh,
it
yes, it
was.
it was by you guys.
No,
No,
yes, it was.
It was by Councilman Zimmerman,
nobody protected.
okay? Shall we play YouTube back to show you?
I can tell you guys mentioned it, that's all.
Okay,
No,
I'm
we
sorry.
didn't.
Okay,
We
we're
made the
gonna-
He never said a word.
Okay, all right, okay,
He
okay.
said the correct.
Okay. Let's
So
go
my
right, I'm
question
sorry.
is, if it's monetary, and we're trying to save money, which I can respect, through the borough account, we're trying to save the taxpayers money, but I humbly ask you to rescind what you did, because the people of the borough of Kenworth do not want this for us. And you as a council you are elected, whether you're Republican or Democrat, to represent the borough of Kenworth. And you have had more people at your meetings speak about this since January than anything else. So I'm asking you today to make a motion to rescind what you did. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Have anything to say for the good and well-being of Kenilworth?
Kristen Boyle, 28 North 22nd Street. I'm going to read, so please forgive me and have some patience with me because I'm not a public speaker. There's been a lot of discussion, questions, and speculations being made regarding the rec director's position and my position as program administrator. Sadly, no one has raised these questions or that has been speculating has reached out to myself or the rec director for any clarification or answers. So I felt it was time I come speak on behalf of the department, our positions, to answer some of these concerns, hopefully within this. The rec director position and the program administrator position are two vastly different roles. The rec director is the face of the department. He's held this position going on his 12th year now. He is present for every sport practice, game, team draft, scheduling, handles sports supply inventory, scorekeeping, field scheduling, and more. He, along with some previous committee members, have aided in the growth of this department and its sports programs from before he was appointed to the position and served as committee member. The implementation of sports leagues for both basketball and softball is to his credit, along with the assistance of Bill Zorich, who sadly is no longer with us. The softball program has gone from playing just Kenilworth to playing Elmore League with Elizabeth, Roselle Park, and Roselle, to now playing against not only the aforementioned towns, but Mountainside, Scotch Plains, Fanwood, Springfield, Cranford, Metuchen, and Edison Midtown. The rec director is crucial to not only our sports programs, but our family events as well. For example, festivities leading up to the fireworks. He coordinates all the food vendors, novelty vendors, arranges for DJs and at all our events, as well as refreshments when and where warranted. It has been said that reducing the rec director's stipend was to save the taxpayer money. I think any effort made to save the taxpayers' money is great when cuts are justified and get the most bang for their buck. This situation does not seem to accomplish that. Cutting anything from the rec, i.e. budget, salary, stipend, or otherwise, does not make sense to me. The rec department brings in over $100,000 a year to offset costs of our programs, allowing us the ability to offer more community, family-based activities to everyone, like roller skate night, ice skate night, multiple swim nights, movies in the park, various holiday-related festivities and activities, just to name a few. I'm not sure I know of any other small department in town that brings in those numbers to help offset costs. Unfortunately, there are no records to reference prior to when the rec director took position to compare programs with registrations. But an example of one of the largest changes is our summer program. When we brought the summer program back in 2011, after being closed down for 3 years due to work being done at the schools, we requested the $5,000 camp line item be returned to the rec's operating budget so we could start the program back up. This was denied by council at the time as budgetary concerns wouldn't allow for it. It was then decided that fees would need to be charged. We agreed because we desperately wanted to bring the program back and decided that the entire structure of it would have to change. From that point on, the program grew leaps and bounds every year. We now average over 400 registrants throughout the summer and anywhere from 150 to 210 children per day. The average amount remaining after annual program costs is roughly $10,900 that gets carried over and used for the next year's supplies. The summer program is completely self-sustaining. We as a department are very proud of this. To go a little deeper and give a better understanding, the 2 years prior to COVID, our fee-based programs were as follows. Fees collected in 2018, softball, $5,675, self-sustaining. Basketball, $15,275. Homework club, $12,000, self-sustaining. Middle school soccer, $5,940. Summer camp, $108,979, self-sustaining. Total collected overall in 2018, $147,869 to offset the cost of the programs. Fees collected in 2019, softball, $5,075, self-sustaining. Basketball, $15,075. Homework club, $4,400, self-sustaining. Middle school soccer, $4,680. Summer camp, $100,400, self-sustaining. Total collected overall in 2019, $129,630 to offset costs of the programs. I noticed that in the last meeting, with all due respect, Councilman Pence referenced his cell phone, saying that things got a lot easier due to technology. In some ways, that may be true, as it did give us an extra avenue to get information out there. It wasn't until 2016 that we were able to get the school on board with sending our flyers out through their email blast system. And it wasn't until 2017 when it was firmly established that we stopped printing and delivering flyers to the school. Technology has caused the rec to become a 24/7 job. The people of our community know they can reach out to us at any time and will get answers no matter the question. Believe me, they're not all rec related. Most often they are borough related, and if we don't know the answer, we will get it for them. Our phones, emails, messages never stop, nor do we. If there's an emergency or a tragedy in town, a family in need of anything, if we know about it and it's within our ability to help them, we are a center point, a calming ground, and a safe place. There are members currently present in this room who have been on the receiving end and know firsthand how much we will do for anyone who needs any kind of help. We do our best to bring everyone together and help however they can. Our rec director goes above and beyond for the people in Kenilworth, and I do my best to follow his lead, as well as take the lead whenever he needs it. I wouldn't be where I am, who I am, or hold the position I do today if not for his work, guidance, and guidance with the rec. I'll gladly sit down with anyone to further go over what it is we do, but I hope at the very least this gives everyone a better idea and some insight. I thank you all for this opportunity, wish you all well, and hope everyone can finally come together and do what is best and right to help move our amazing borough forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yesenia Cubrio Kendall, 30 North 14th Street. This is my first council meeting live, so forgive me if I do something wrong, because apparently there's no rules. I am here on behalf of my family, especially my 13-year-old son. We are transplants from Westfield. We've been here 8 years. When I and my husband were making the decision to move towns, we were calling all of the towns to find out what every town could offer us as a family to our children. I had 2 girls in high school, and I had my first grade. I called Kristen Boyle. She told me all about the rec center. She told me all about summer camp. She told me everything that this town could offer my family. And at that moment, I turned to my husband and I said, I want to be in Kenilworth. That's where I want to be. Then I met Pat Boyle. Married but separate, 2 separate human beings. Our children respect both of them more than most of the people in this room. They are the face of Kenilworth. The fact that a decision was made on a stipend for Pat's position to reduce his pay and to mention his name in council meetings. I'm sorry, sir, you mentioned that, that's not supposed to happen. I'm a finance director myself. I work for a global company. I speak to VPs of finance. I speak to presidents every day. And the smugness in some of the people in this room that have come through on this topic, because it's not happening on any other topic. It is a disgrace, and it makes me very upset that our children ultimately are going to be the ones that are going to suffer. My child is now 13 years old. He's done basketball. He's doing homework club. He's done everything. When Kristen needs something, when Pat needs help, we're the first people to come and say, what can we do for you? What are we teaching our children by taking away something like this? You, Mr. Puglisi, keep talking about the budget. Again, I'm in finance. Show me what else you have reduced to save me as a taxpayer. What you've taken away from Pat does not save me a dime. It affects our children. And if you're okay with that, if you can sleep at night, God bless you. But I can't. And that's why I'm here today. And I'm asking you to please reconsider. Not reconsider in a backdoor meeting, but reconsider for the people of Kenilworth. And please, give some respect. Give some respect to this town and the people of this town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Bob Herbert, 14th North 12th Street. I'm not up here to comment on the rent situation, but there was a question about why the township attorney was switched, if it was finance or any other reason. I'd just like to remind the public, when Mayor, you became mayor and the Democrats were in charge or had the majority of votes, you got rid of Mr. Fruckner, which has been here a long time.
That was prior to me becoming mayor.
Okay, well, it was.
I'm just correcting you.
He was voted out, and Mr. Impies was appointed for whatever reason, but nobody asked that question at that time. Why did a longtime attorney get let go, which he did it for a reduced rate than most attorneys would do? There's no cost savings. And then we have positions in this town that you let people go and create that job to have 2 people do the same job that the other person is doing. So as Councilman Puglisi said, sometimes penny wise, dollar foolish. We let lower paid people go, and then we create more jobs and pay more money, which is not the best interest of the taxpayers. But I will say this: I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican in charge. I don't think bringing the budget into check is always good. Most municipalities do it. They always start at the lower paid people. I wish, I would love to see our local, state, federal government start at the higher pay to reduce things or benefits before you start with the person on the bottom, because it really doesn't make a difference, you know, a penny or a dime, you know. It's kind of small. But a lot of other people in this community got forced to retire. Other people got laid off. You know, for whatever reason. I can't comment if it's good or bad because I don't have all the facts. But jobs come and go, salaries are up, salaries are down. I don't agree, you know, with those things, but that's just the way it is in politics. At the end of the day, everything is politics. It all depends who has the majority of the vote. And I just wanted to share that with you.
And I'd like to say for the record that I'm looking forward to working with the new professionals.
Right. Glad to hear it. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to divide our personal feelings, and two parties are supposed to work together. But again, as one of our residents said, elected officials, Republican or Democrat, they got to put that aside and do what's best for us. We have a beautiful town here. We do have a good rec program. Our school is moving forward to a positive way. Got some good people representing us now, and we got to put our personal feelings aside and keep this town going. It's a beautiful town.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, everyone. Joe Rizzo, 212 North 21st Street. Two quick comments. Not sure who's in charge of the DPW yard, but it looks, that eyesore is starting to look great. And whoever was in charge of that, I guess, 15 times a day. So kudos to whoever's in charge of that.
That's amazing. It's fantastic.
Yeah, so that looks great. And then the second thing, just very quickly, we have a wood burning fireplace at my house. My kids love it, 3, 5, and 7-year-olds. And they love to help, they love to put in the wood, and we were cleaning it out. And of course, as soon as I brought out the bucket with the central vacuum, one of them vacuumed up one of the cherries. And I came
What did they vacuum? I'm sorry.
One of the little cherries, the ambers. We call them cherries and ambers.
Okay.
Sorry, from the fire. Yeah, from the fire. So.
Thinking fruit.
Yeah. When as we were vacuuming around it, but the police officer showed up within 30, I mean, like 2 minutes. I couldn't even unplug the system. It was a central vacuum. I couldn't even unplug the system fast enough. Before they got there, the firemen got there. They were there for, I don't even know how long. No, nothing happened, bottom line, but it was amazing how quickly they showed up. You always know that they're there, but you don't really, you don't appreciate it as much until you really need it. And we didn't need it, but they were there in case we need to. And so just wanted to compliment them. That it was really nice that we knew that if anything happened, they were right there for us. So I just wanted to want everybody to know about that little silly story.
That's very nice.
That was it.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Glad you're safe. Anyone else? Anything to say? Okay. Seeing no one, I'd like a motion to close the floor for public discussion.
Motion.
Second?
Okay. Does anyone else have anything to say for the good and welfare of the borough? Yeah?
Mayor, I appreciate Kristen coming up and enlightening us too on a lot of things. I know I asked the borough clerk last week as to what programs our rec department does. I'm trying to get a grasp on the big picture. I don't know if she ever spoke to Kristen about it yet or not, but for $4,000, it's just not worth going back and forth over anymore. So I'd like to make a motion to just give them the $4,000 and we can revisit this over the year at some point.
Excellent.
I'll second that.
And just see where we stand with it.
Excellent.
I'll second that.
I'm very, very happy to hear to see this happen.
Thank you, Mr. Zuber.
You need to do a
Councilwoman Cesari?
Yes.
Councilman David and Councilman Finestrello are excused. Councilman Pence?
Yes.
Councilman Puglisi?
Yes.
And Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
Passes. I will put that in the form of a formal resolution for the next council meeting.
Well, I'm very happy. Okay. Anyone else, anything to say? Thank you. Okay, if there's nothing else to be brought before the council, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Excellent. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
Yeah.